What is up, everybody? Hey, guys, what is happening? It is Brent Abel here, webtennis.com. Another episode of 7 Around 7. Beautiful day here in the Rocky Mountains, Steamboat Springs, Colorado. I don't know. Too many things to choose from to do today. Looking forward to it. Maybe even hitting a few balls with my lovely wife, around midday today over at Steamboat Tennis Center. Got to take a hike, maybe even do a little off-court training. Who knows? We shall see. Guys, again, hope you're having a great start to your day wherever you are. 8 a.m. out here in the Rocky Mountains, 7 a.m. Pacific Coast. And look, I got something I want to talk about today, which is I'm titling the Aslan and Mr. Stow's School of Belief. And what I've got for you is I got a recommendation for an article that I read recently. The link is down below in the description area. And when we're done today, go ahead down below, click it, read it. I think it'll really be of interest to you, especially in terms of how it relates to us. And again, I'm talking to those players today who are really working on their game, right? They're not satisfied where their current skill level is. They want to get better. And whether you're playing tournaments or whether you're playing league matches or you're just playing a lot of, hey, Rich, good morning, Lefty, what's up? Or whatever, right? This message is for you today. And it's really, it's so simple, it's ridiculous. But before we get into it, a couple of things. Number one, down below, also in the description area, is a link that'll take you over to 98.6, where my good friend Dave Doherty, who I spent a lot of time in the desert with during the winter in Southern California desert, good player, top national level, 65 player, has developed and is producing high performance tennis clothing for men, and some interesting material that I encourage you to check out his website. And he's offering us a 15% discount off our initial order. All you got to do is put in the 15% discount code, which is Brent01. That would be capital B, lowercase RENT, and then a 01, and you'll get your 15% discount. But yeah, go on over there, pick up a pair of shorts, a shirt or two, a hat, and take it away, man. Yeah, good. The other thing is I'm putting the finishing touches on the Sievertson 12. I've done the videos and I've digitized it, and just need to upload it, make a couple more tweaks to it, but it should be done today. And hopefully I will be announcing tomorrow where you can pick it up. The Dave Sievertson little page he gave me when I spent time with Dave about 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, before I went to play the Atlanta tournament. And he very smartly, and more teaching pros ought to be doing this, right? My last session with him, I show up, and what's he got for me? He's got a full page, 8.5 by 11 page of notes that he's typed up for me and the things that we've been working on. And I want to give this to you at no cost. It's free, no charge. It's on me. If you want a copy and you haven't already let me know, just shoot me an email, brent@webtennis.com. All right, guys. So today's topic is the Aslan and Mr. Stow's School of Belief. And Aslan is a Russian tennis player, 27 years old. I'm probably going to butcher his last name, Aslan Karetsev. Anyway, a guy who, I said 27, he actually turns 28 this year in September. Relatively an older guy to play his first Grand Slam tournament in the Australian this year in February of 2021, right? So he'd been on the Challenger Tour forever and had really not made much of a move until last year in 2020. And what happened last year in 2020, obviously with the pandemic, is and the article down below, the link is there and it'll tell you, but there was a gentleman who put together, and he was able to do it, put together a tour for guys like Aslan, right? Guys who are not the top players, but kind of mid-range players, sort of in the rankings of the 150 and below, and that he thought he could put together some kind of a tour, a set of tournaments where these guys could get some matches. And so that's what happened. And most of it was for Americans, but he found out about it and ended up getting on this tour and played just a ton of matches. Right. Let me read you something real quick here. And then I want to get back to kind of my take on why he's been successful since then and the advice that I got from Mr. Stow way back in the day. In February 2021, Karatsev went through the qualifiers for the Australian Open. In his first main draw of a Grand Slam, ranked 114th, he defeated 8th seed Diego Schwartzman, 20th seed Felix Auger Aliassime, and 18th seed Grigor Dimitrov to reach the semifinals. Karatsev is the first man in the open area to reach the semifinals in his Grand Slam debut. Right? So look, this is me. Well, as you're going to discover when you read the article, what it means is that he got in 2020, before that Australian, he got a ton of matches in a really short, condensed period of time. And Mr. Stow always told me when I was working with him and these three other guys, Doug King, Steve Stefanski, and John Hubble. When I worked with Mr. Stow for a year and a half back in the day, which really completely changed my tennis game as a player, as a coach, changed my life. I mean, anyway, that's another story. But one of the things that Mr. Stow would always tell us, and I was the one always kind of going, all right, well, I can't wait to get back to the club at Brooklyn Tennis Club. I'm going to work in this stuff. I'm going to drill. I'm going to do this. And here's what I did last week. And he would always tell me, look, drilling is fine to a certain point, but really where the learning happens is when you're playing sets. And whether you're playing practice sets or you're playing tournament matches, or now more in the more recently playing league matches, you've got to get just a ton of practice sets, a ton of matches that count. And as opposed to just constantly thinking, well, until I work on this slice backhand forever, off the ball machine or drilling, I'm not going to play anything, right? I got to get that organized first. Well, guess what? Yes, there is a time to tinker with a little bit of technique, but really where you work it out is when you're playing sets, is when you're playing matches, right? And matches, whether they're practice matches, they're practice sets, they're matches in tournaments, they're matches that, league matches, maybe even they're matches, practice matches that count a little bit in terms of making them public, where you and your opponent decide, hey, today, let's take the result and we're going to post it on the blackboard inside the clubhouse, whatever, right? But I think the point that I want to make to you guys today is don't get stuck thinking that you're going to be practicing, drilling, working on technique until you think that you've got it finally figured out, and then you can go play. Because as Mr. Stowe told us, man, the real learning happens during when you're playing sets. So look, if you're not playing tournaments, if you're not playing leagues, that's fine. But if you're the kind of player that wants to get better, then you better be adding a ton of practice sets each and every week. And if you're not, you're just going to stay stuck. I'm sorry. If you've got too much practice court time, if you've got too much, on-court coaching time, it's just not it's not the same thing as being on the court when you're playing a set, when you're playing a practice match, when you're playing a tournament or a league match. And I know for me, when I first started playing tournaments, it was horrible. I was just nervous, and part of it for me was in practice. I was okay. I was pretty good. I was getting better. But once I got into the tournament thing, it was not great. So I just kind of had this thought, the only way to overcome the nerves and to overcome whatever you're feeling, the stress and the tension. My gosh, I remember early on going up to Sonoma and playing a tournament, north of the Bay Area. And I beat a guy like 1-1. And I just remember driving home cramping. I mean, I'm driving the hour and a half back from Sonoma. My legs are cramping. At one point I had to pull over, get off 101 and just, walk around. I mean, I was cramping after beating a guy 1-1. That's crazy, right? I was so nervous. I was so stressed out. So look, the only way that I figured that I could overcome the nerves, I could read a ton of books. I could go, lay on a couch in a shrink's office and talk through it. But for me, the only way to do it was to look at my schedule, look at the tournament calendar, and just go, all right, I got to play as many tournament matches as I can get myself into. And hopefully I'll eventually start to calm down. I'll eventually start to desensitize myself to the fact that, oh my gosh, right? I mean, these are like little B tournaments. This is before we had the NTRP, right? We had A, B, C, D. I was like a B- player at best, hovering between B- and C+, right? I mean, it's just tennis. It's just a game. No one's making any money. I was, 25, 26 years old. Certainly had no chance of, in Aslan's case, he was already on the tour at 27, right? I had no chance. So what am I doing being nervous and uptight about it? It was dumb, right? So, but I still wanted to keep playing. I didn't want to quit. So I ended up I just shoved as many tournament matches in as I could get. And over time, it worked. And Mr. Stow's advice really rang true, which is great. You want to come up here every Wednesday morning for 3 hours and work with the guys. And yeah, we'll work on your game. But when you go back, pick out one thing that you worked on this week with me, right? Mr. Stow would say, pick out one thing and take that back to the BTC and work on it for, maybe 20 minutes. And then go out and tell the guy, we're playing 3 sets today. I don't care if I win the first 2 or you win the first 2. We're playing 3 sets no matter what. And that's where you start to discover, number one, well, gosh, my slice backhand's not bad. I don't need to be working on it forever. It's good enough. I'm just throwing the ball over there. It's not getting me in trouble. Yeah, maybe could I Rosewall the thing a little better over time? Maybe. But do I need to spend that much time on it before I start playing matches? No. So shove into your calendar as many practice sets as you can get, as many practice matches as you can get, as many tournaments and league matches as you can get. And that's where you start to calm down. That's when you start to discover who you are on the court. And look, another little nugget from Mr. Stow was that he was going, look, there's a small set of fundamentals, guys, that each one of you must have. But after you've got those fundamentals into your game, I want you to take your unique personality and lay that down on top of those fundamentals. And, Mr. King, Doug King, for you, it's maybe not total 100% serve and volley. It's serve and look for the short ball to, come in on. It's whatever, right? Mr. Stefanki, you're going to be doing something else once you get fundamental. And Brent, for you, I can see that you need to be with your personality, kind of risk and reward. You've got the fundamentals. You're going flat out 100% serve and volley. You're going flat out on that second serve when you're returning it. You're going to chip and charge. You're in. You are forcing the guy to pass. That's your personality. So how do you really start to believe in all this stuff? Well, what Aslan did is he got a ton of matches. Mr. Stow told us you get a ton of matches, and that's where you will start to work things out, and you will start to believe. And there you have it. So good. Look, guys, I'd love to read and respond to what's on your mind today from today's topic, the Aslan and Mr. Stow's School of Belief. There's a link down below in the description area. I want you to read the article. It's short, but super interesting. And also in the description area, there's a link to 98.6 men's high performance tennis clothing, being offered a 15% discount off of your initial order. All you got to do is put in the code Brent01. That's capital B, RENT, lowercase RENT, and then a 01, and you'll get that 15% discount. Guys, That's it. 15 minutes, man. 15 around 7, around 8 here in the Rocky Mountains. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. Time for all of us. We got to get out there today. Help someone else have a spectacular day. Guys, I'll see you again next time.